Hey guys, I'm Lee from Lee Likes Music, the place to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp. And in today's video we're going to look at an album by Wavves, which is called Afraid of Heights. So that's coming up. So first of all, if you haven't heard about Wavves, they are a surf rock, pop punk band from San Diego, California, US. Ever since they were first founded, they've experimented with a lot of different genres, not just pop, punk, and surf rock, but also electronic music, experimental rock. Yeah, there's just a lot of different things going on in their music, which makes them a very, very exciting band to check out in the first place. I've already reviewed the album that they released before this one, which is called King of the Beach from 2010. That is just an amazing album, so if you haven't checked out that review, you might go ahead and do that. There's a link to that up here or in the description below. But now let's get into Afraid of Heights, which is the album that they put out in 2013. I actually didn't know much about this album because I just listened to King of the Beach and I just settled for that. I just thought that album was so good, so I soaked it in. But for some reason I didn't choose to go on and discover more of their discography until this week. I have to say that Afraid of Heights, maybe it was an album that I checked out and I got a bad first impression or something. I don't quite remember, but I have to say that this album is not as solid as King of the Beach, at least not to me. This album, Afraid of Heights, it features 13 tracks, and these songs are still as experimental as the tracks on King of the Beach. The only difference between these albums and these songs is that this album, Afraid of Heights, is a little bit more darker. It's not as energetic and positive as King of the Beach was. So in this review, I'm just gonna quickly go into some of the songs that really impacted me a lot, as I usually do these days. So let's start off with the second track off of this album. So this track is called Demon to Land On, and it features this very simple, easy to remember melody. It opens up with this acoustic soundscape. This is a song that subtly builds in power and output in terms of the volume and the energy, and that is a good thing. It goes from this acoustic soundscape to electric guitars, and then from those electric guitars to some very distorted and heavy guitars, and yeah. That is basically the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus summed up in a nutshell. If you listen closely to the second verse on the song, you'll hear that there are a lot of small details, small sounds going on. There's, for example, this triangle being played, and there's also some castagnettes, and this adds up to a very various and rich soundscape. It's very exotic and fresh to listen to. If you look into the lyrical context of this song, you will see that it dives into the themes of hopelessness, carelessness, and just feeling that life is miserable and meaningless. And these are themes and topics that Nathan Williams, the singer and songwriter from the band, he is very familiar with these because he is using these themes and topics over and over and over during many of the other albums as well. In a passage in this song, he sings, "No hope and no future, will die the same loser." So yeah, this self-deprecating approach to life is something that we can hear Nathan sing about during several of the songs on this album and on several other albums as well. What I also love about Demon to Lean On is that it features these very iconic guitar effects that I think I've heard before in many other bands, maybe in Nirvana. That is the first band that pops into my mind. And yeah, I like that. I like how they kind of recycle these guitar effects and these sounds, but they do it in still an authentic way, and that's good. The second song off of this album that I felt impacted me in a big way is called Mystic, and it's the third song off of the album. In this song, you'll find that it has a very deep and overwhelming sonic atmosphere. During the choruses, it's very garage rocky, very punky, while during the verses, it returns to something a bit oddball, something dark and mystical. experimentation between noise, random sounds, and melody is really what makes this song stand out. The verse, as I told you a little bit about, is feeling very unsettling, but it's mixed together with this kind of positive melody that is solely performed by the vocals, by Nathan Williams himself. And it comes off in a way that is just so hypnotizing and mesmerizing. There's this perfect blend in the verse between something very ominous, dark, and twisty, and something that is lighting up, something that is inspiring and a bit curious. What I also found to be a bit peculiar and standing out is how the vocals are just buried deeply inside the chorus. I mean, listen to it. The vocals are very shallow, or not shallow, they're low in volume, and it's hard to make out exactly what is going on. And it's a very authentic and very innovative way of producing and mixing things together. So yeah, you really have to check this out. The mixing and the production here is quite lo-fi, but it still comes off as pretty good. I mean, this is something that Wavves are very familiar with. It's something that they've continuously used over their other albums. Lo-fi is something that they actually use in a way that benefits the overall sound. It makes the sound richer and more authentic in a way, and that's really, really good. The next song that I want to mention that stood out to me and that impacted me is called Lunge Forward. It's the 4th track off of the album. This song feels more like a driving classic punk song more than any of the other tracks off of this album. It features this very hard-hitting verse, and then it transcends into this very disorienting and mesmerizing chorus. And the reason why I want to describe this chorus or this song as disorienting in a way is because the melody never lands anywhere. It goes from one place to another. It's stretched out. It also features these doo-wop, is that what you call it? I'm not sure. Last time I said boo-wop, I think, in my previous review of King of the Beach, but it's doo-wop, yeah. Nathan Williams is really into surf rock, and he takes this oohing, doo-wop inspired vocals and puts it into this song, and I really love that. It's like a big throwback to this surf rock theme that Wavves have been using in their music in many of their albums. Thematically speaking, the song is touching on boredom and drug use. I wake up and stretch my arms. You're fucking boring. It doesn't mean a thing to me. Still asleep inside my head, I'm fucking snoring. So yeah, basically boredom, not giving a fuck about life, just, yeah. Later on in the song, Nathan sings, I can't seem to get enough. I blink and it's all fucked up. So yeah, that is my interpretation of the lyrics, about drugs, about boredom, about meaningless. Yeah, basically the same themes that have been recycled all over their discography, or at least in this album and in the previous album. And I don't have anything against that. I actually like the fact that he is creating and writing about something that is real to him in the first place. So yeah, I appreciate this. For some reason, while listening to this 4th track, Lunge Forward, I always imagine like these skater kids listening to this while skating at this small skate park. And it would also be a perfect fitting song in like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, or, you know, one of those old skater games from PlayStation 2 that is, yeah, first thing that comes to my mind actually. The 4th track that I want to mention is the 9th track off of the album, and it's called Beat Me Up. Again, we hear this fusion between something very punky and something surf rock inspired. It's a return of these doo-wop vocals from Nathan Williams. The notes that Williams is performing just rings in my ears, and they give me this very warm and summery feeling that I just can't get enough of. Other than the positive mood and the catchy melodies here, I also felt that the song was a bit flat in terms of the dynamic range. Although I liked this song, it also felt predictable, it felt repetitive, and that is something that didn't serve the charm of the song at all. In a way, I feel like Wavves sound a bit more constricted on this album. They're still experimental, but it's like they just put it down a notch, and that is something that I didn't appreciate at all, because I loved how this band was bending genres between surf rock and punk pop. I loved that. I really enjoyed the noise and the random interferences of other genres and sounds and soundscapes. It was so rich on King of the Beach, but they managed to, and they wanted to, I guess, to settle it down a bit on this album. So just to conclude, what I really liked about this album is how Wavves managed to mix these very positive songs like Give Me a Knife and Cop, and they mixed it together with very dark songs such as Everything's My Fault, I Can't Dream, and Dog. And yeah, it added just up to a very versatile, moody soundscape that I enjoyed so much. There's a really good flow between all of the songs here, and there still is quite a big experimental effort from the band. I mean, they toned it a bit down from King of the Beach. It's a lot less energetic, it's less positive, but it still manages to capture all of these small sounds. It still feels intricate in certain ways, and you can really hear that they wanted to put something unique into their music, and that is something that weighs a lot for me. It's something that makes music a lot more exciting to listen to. So Afraid of Heights by Wavves, I'm gonna give this album a 7 out of 10. So absolutely go and check it out. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you guys like to share, explore, and learn more about rock music from Bandcamp, then I highly suggest you click the subscribe button below. Also make sure to click that bell icon beside of the subscribe button. In that way you'll always get notified when I upload new videos, okay? Thank you again for watching, guys. Hope to see you later. Stay tuned. Bye.